Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Let me introduce our research web service management system for job search using a competence-based approach, uh, prepared by Vitaliy Kobets, Nikita Tsiuriuta, Valerii Lytvynenko, and Valentina Mikhailova. Motivation of our research is in reconciliation of interests in the labor market among employers, employees, government institutions, and higher educational institutions is a key mechanism for achieving employment efficiency in any country in the world. The profile of each employee, as well as the vacancy of the employer, can be presented as a set of general and specific subject competencies that are constantly updated. There is a need to introduce a competence-based approach to filling vacancies in the labor market, using electronic platforms to support the relationship between employers and employees in the labor market. Each of participants of our web service have own motivation. For example, employers form a demand for the competences of employees. Employees update their competences in accordance with the requirements of the labor market. Higher educational institutions train specialists based on these competences and measure the level of their achievement by program learning outcomes. State authority sets quality assurance standards for the levels of competences. Solving the existing problem will speed up employment and reduce downturn of high-tech industries, which will accelerate the level of economic growth of Ukraine economy. Motivation of participants is presented on the next slide. Employers can form requirements of labor markets. Higher educational institutes can prepare study programs which include most important and core competences, and employees plan to have new job and to form new competences using existing study programs. The main goal of our research is to develop an architecture for competence-based web service for job search based on required competences of IT industry. Broadly speaking, our aim is creating a quality assurance management system for study program based on the development of competence-based electronic service for creating a database of demand for professionals for their employment and solving management problems of training and recruitment, modification of specific subject competences in accordance with labor market needs. The most influential related works for our research are following. Integration of labor market and educational services to convert individual development in professional career using electronic competence framework and electronic qualification framework standards. Employers prefer applicants with project management skills, customer service approach, digital and database collections, technology implementation in workload, problem-solving skills under pressure and experience. Applicants need advice which type of competence they need in order to get a desirable job. Employees prefer web service, where they receive adequate constructive feedback, social support, and feel that the skills and knowledge they are building are important to society. Website service can help to investigate the relation between the service quality of specialized recruiting websites and users' behavior and perception. Job control and social support positively associated with employees' attitudes toward web-based continuing learning. The main tasks of our research are carrying out of marketing research concerning tendencies in the labor for an e-platform of competencies, creating a model of quality assurance management system of study programs based on the analysis of demand for specialists, development of recruitment specification to the software architecture design of future web service, development of a backend, front-end, and interface for a competence-oriented web employment service for employees, job seekers, and higher educational institutions, formation of a precedent base of competence-oriented web employment service in accordance to standards, and development of project database, implementation of selected software models of the web service. Our expected results are designed and developed a competence-oriented web employment service for IT specialties according to ECF and EQF standards. Quick search for competent employees using an e-platform of competencies between the profile of a potential applicant and the vacancy. Created an expert system of decision support in the competencies and KPI of staff. On this slide, you can see electronic competence framework within ICT organization. This scheme connect higher educational institutes, employers and employees. Comparative analysis of management system for employment between six most popular web services indicates that, for example, such characteristics as checking of applicant competencies, integration service of electronic educational resources, and other are not fully presented on the labor markets. So our service can fill this gap and to give opportunity to obtain new service which have more preferable characteristics, which is very valuable for potential customers. Model of employer behavior and payment using job search web service indicate that employers can create this service if their additional benefits more than additional costs. So in these conditions, for example, equation 1 demonstrates the maximal amount which can pay employers to create such web service. So equation 1 can estimate maximal amount which employer can spend on job find web service. Project concepts demonstrate main functions of employers, job applicants, and higher educational institutes and their interconnections. Functional requirements includes 11 modules. Among them are consent module, which includes mutual coincide between choice of applicant and employers, module for creating new vacancies, and module for viewing and interacting with vacancies, etc. Entity relationship diagram demonstrates functionality, functional requirements of our service, and it gives us opportunity to create data, which is introduced on the next slide. Demo version of our web service is presented on GitHub page, which you can see on this. Applicant dashboard includes the personal data, CV, and green color indicates competencies which are confirmed by the applicants. For example, using diploma or link or recommendation letter, and red color indicates unconfirmed competencies, for example, informal or non-formal education of applicants. Employer dashboard demonstrates the main information about vacancies, about type of job, for example, full or part-time, about salary, and list of competences which is necessary for applicants. If list of these competence coincide both for applicant and employers, it will mean that information for both of them will reveal, and they can contact between themselves out of this service. If competences of employee is not enough, then he or she can cover these competences using her existing study program on this platform and to choose any of them to get desirable job. Using data analysis and, for example, RStudio, we can to estimate most important competence which give most salary or most wage for each employee, and we can estimate statistically significant or statistically insignificant competences, in which case employee can choose most valuable competences, and higher educational institute can use these competences in their study. In this slide, the visualization demonstrates two cases when the more, for example, knowledge of more knowledge of English, the more wages. And for example, second case demonstrates that men on senior position can give more salary than women for this position. Conclusions. The analysis of existing web services on employment for advantages and disadvantages is carried out to reveal advantages of new competence-based web service. A specification of software requirements and business requirements has been created. The results of the research allowed us to fully form the vision and architecture of competence-oriented web service. The performed requirements specification allowed the formation of a relational database model for a web service management system for job search using a competence-based approach. Data export and statistical processing enabled us to identify which competences are in demand and for the acquisition of which study program are required on a job placement website. Based on the data received from applicants and employees, the benefits of using data processing by the means of RStudio for this service have been demonstrated. The obtained results are the basis for further program development and testing of the system for assessing the competence of applicants for ECF standards and the selection of vacancies for future employment. Thank you for your attention.